Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to wait a couple of minutes more until everyone is here. We have few people from around the world joining, so I'll just give it a couple of minutes. Thanks. Okay, let's give it a go slowly. So my name is Christophe. I'm the head of international recruitment at Forward College. Good evening, and thanks for joining us about this webinar, which is what makes Forward College unique. Tonight, I'm very happy to be joined by one of our current students. She's in year 2. Madalena, do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone. My name is Madalena. I'm from Portugal and I'm currently in the second year of Forward College, so in Paris. And I'm studying politics and international relations with a double bachelor in business and leadership.
And I'm also very happy to be joined by my colleague Clément. Clément, you want to say hi and talk about you a little bit?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Clément. I'm based in France and I'm an admission officer at Forward College. And I'm here today to, answer any question you may have about the application process.
So we're going to start the webinar. There will be two sections, one which holds presentation about our model, our classes, where both Clément and Madalena will give further insights. And towards the end, we'll leave the webinar open for another 5 to 10 minutes to answer any questions you might have. I'll start this webinar with a short video to introduce Forward College.
Forward College offers a unique international experience where students live and learn across 3 campuses: Lisbon the first year, Paris the second, and Berlin third. 3 European capitals with distinct cultural aspects for you to discover. Our teaching methods are different from those found in traditional degree courses. They are engaging, interactive, and personalized. Whether in economics, data science, politics and international relations, business and management, or psychology, our bachelor's degrees are designed by the London School of Economics or King's College London and accredited by the University of London. Our programs are taught in small classes, averaging just 15 students. Additionally, students are supported through one-on-one tutoring, helping them to excel in their exams. Our students' commitment goes beyond their academic bachelor's. As part of our leadership program, students will deliver impact projects via teamwork and collaboration. Working on a social and environmental impact project in year 1, designing a digital solution in year 2, and consulting for international organizations in year 3. Over the course of the 3 years, students will enhance their social and emotional intelligence, as well as their leadership skills through our personal development program. It includes training in inclusive communication, networking, stress management, and negotiation. These skills are key in supporting students as well as their academic success, professional career, personal life, and well-being in the years to come. So if you're ready to embark on the next step of your journey, we can't wait to hear from you.
The world is changing today. We can see just by turning on the news that democracies are wavering. We can see climate change issues. We can see that AI is changing the way we learn, the way we interact, and also the way we communicate. But at Forward College, we don't see those challenges such as we see them as opportunities. Forward College was created to challenge how education is done with 4 main pillars in mind. Those 4 pillars are quality of education, quality of teaching, opportunities to practice, engage, and learn by doing, but also by transforming your personality via our leadership program. And finally, an international component for international citizens, world citizens. It's with those 4 pillars that Forward College mission started. We're going to explore each of them throughout this presentation. Let's start with world-class bachelors. At Forward College, you have the opportunity to study 2 types of degrees. On one hand, we have our British degrees accredited by the University of London, and there are 2 academic directions possible. For some of our degrees, it's the LSE that is behind the curriculum. So you can see those programs in data science and business analytics, economics and politics, economics and management, business and management, and politics and international relations. We also have partnerships with King's College in London that has designed the curriculum of psychology. So the University of London is the accrediting body, but the academic direction is from those institutions. The exams are actually corrected at those institutions. Teaching, though, happens at Forward College with Forward methodology. And it's based on our campuses in each of the 3 cities that were mentioned in the video. The exam, as I said, are run and corrected by LSE or KCL, and the accreditation by the House, which is University of London. We have another type of degree, which is accredited by the French Ministry of Education. It's what we call our open bachelors, or also specific bachelor in PPE and PPLE that I'm going to mention about. The open bachelors follow a different methodology. They are based around subject areas that are listed here: data science and AI, management and innovation, economics, politics and international relations, and as minors, psychology and leadership. The difference between those programs is in the teaching approach. We are not focusing too much on the academic subject. We are putting problems and issues at the center of the table, and we target them with different angles. Those degrees are more interdisciplinary and interconnected. In year 1, students will focus on different aspects, up to 10 different subjects, and specialize in year 2 and year 3 with a combination of majors and minors. The curriculum is a bit more innovative. It focuses on challenges, climate change, technological advancements, etc., and the accreditation from the French Ministry of Education. So you have that possibility of choosing between a British education or a French degree, following actually the liberal arts model, if you're familiar with the US or the Netherlands, who also specialize in that. I mentioned before PPE and PPLE. These are 2 new degrees that we are launching in September. They work a little bit like our open bachelor, but you have a defined combination of subjects: philosophy, politics, and economics, PPE on one side, or psychology, politics, law, and economics. So unlike the OB that is a bit more open, where you have more subjects to choose from, those are still a combination of disciplines, but they are directed in the sense that they are specific subjects. Now, let's talk about another pillar of Forward College, which is the quality of teaching. At Forward College, we do things a little bit differently in the methodology, in the approach. You might be familiar with classes in high school where you sit down and take notes. We kind of moved away from that. We moved away from the traditional lecture hall, and we do things a little bit differently. How so? First, our classes are smaller. We only have an average of 15 students per class. Why? Because we believe that the classroom is the space where interaction, discussion, challenging ideas and concepts should happen. So what we do is we do flipped classroom. Basically, what happens is you receive the material ahead of the class. You study independently or in small groups. And when you are in class, it's really the space for you to discuss and engage with the material. This can be quite different from what you've seen until now, and it's a specificity of Forward College, but it really takes the classes on another level. What else do we do differently? Because we have small classes, all the teachers will know you. You will not be able to shy away from any presentations. The teachers will know you by your name, they will engage with you, and the type of classes experience will be much more based on debates, presentations, group discussions. We also offer something that is called one-on-one tutoring. So you will get first written feedback on your assessments, but then you will also have a chance to discuss those feedback and how to improve on your classes via one-on-one tutoring. They happen quite regularly, sometimes on a weekly basis with your academics. We do something that is called formative assessment. So if you're following the curriculum of the LSE or King's College, we have your final exam at the end of the academic year, but throughout the term, you will have different type of formative assessments. Those assessments are here and designed to make sure that you keep track with engaging with the material and that you are up to the level that will be required for you to succeed at the exams. For the open bachelor and for PPE and PPLE, you will have a different type of assessments. The assessments will be more around presentations, presenting a poster, a video. We don't have final exams at the end of the year. It's continuous assessment. At Forward College, we really believe in teamwork and project-based learning. So this is something that you will either learn or strengthen as part of Forward College, because it kind of follows the model of work. When you are in a company, an NGO, a government position, you will need to be interacting with teams. So this is something that we really foster as part of your curriculum. In terms of results, we've been running now Forward College for 5 years. 3 generations have already or are about to graduate. The success rate between year 1, year 2, and year 3 is an average of 98.5%. So students do pass from one on to the other. We are measured also by everyone who takes the exams at the LSE. 40% of our students do get second class honor. Those are classification of degrees if you're not familiar with them. And we regularly receive prizes. This year, we were very happy and proud to get the Best Student Teachers Interaction Award, which really shows that this dynamic of small classes and one-on-one tutoring brings the value at Forward College. I'm going to go to the next pillar, which is our leadership program. Now, this is the essence of Forward College. This is what we do very differently. It's not just about the academic. If you want to succeed in today's world, you also have to work on what we call soft skills and your capacity to engage leadership and entrepreneurship skills. So let's see how we do that at Forward College. We have 2 angles to do that. Our first angle is to foster your entrepreneurship capacities via what we call the leadership programs. And how do we do that? We do that via project management and entrepreneurship opportunities. In year 1, students will work on a social impact. So it's an impact project that contributes to changing society. It could be reducing the consumption of water in the Gulf of Lisbon. It could be working on an HR possibility. Magdalena, do you want to jump in and share with us what you've been doing as a social impact and sustainability project in Lisbon, for example?
Of course. So last year, I dedicated the whole year with my team. We were 4. And we realized that actually for NGOs based in Lisbon, no matter what they worked with, we worked with an NGO against women's violence against women. We worked at an NGO helping kids in Amadora, which is the poorest neighborhood in Lisbon, to not be on the street and be actually doing some activities. They worked on different projects, but we noticed that no matter what they were concerned with, the staff, which often we asked a lot of that kind of staff, they didn't have any training, and the budget didn't go towards the training of staff. So we decided to make it a priority for them by proposing it for free, and really pushing them to give their staff a little treats in the sense of giving them a little training. And so we consulted with some experts, two of them from Harvard, which was quite exciting, some experts in communication and stress management. And we created, with the help of these experts, a staff training webinar or workshop of 2 hours, and we delivered it for free in multiple Lisbon NGOs. Even after the year was done, because we kept getting some demand. So that was really, really insightful to look into that, and very rewarding to know that we were giving something to people that already give so much. So that was our project last year. And then, yeah.
Thanks. I mean, that's a beautiful example of how students can impact on social context within Lisbon. In year 2, I'll keep you a little bit with me if you don't mind. We have that focus at Forward College to really work around AI and digital projects. Can you share with us examples of either what you've done in your group, of what other groups have been doing in Paris, for example?
Of course. I mean, to put it shortly, our group is simplifying processes for African-based NGOs so that they can access aid, namely EU aid, US provided aid. Just in terms of sometimes the documentation is too heavy, what they're asking for, or too specific. And we're trying to make sure that everyone has a chance, at least, to submit an application. Another group that we've actually worked with, because their project is very interesting, doesn't have anything to do with ours, but we wanted to help out. They're simplifying help for elderly folks, and they're creating an AI agent that actually acts as a companion dog and monitors their medication and how they're feeling, if they're feeling alone. It has access to contacts, and it can contact their relatives, and it monitors them day to day, because in Europe, is quite a problem of healthcare workers for elderly people diminishing. So it does have a social impact to it, but they're doing it in a digital way.
Lovely, thanks a lot. So we can really see here the engagement through specific and related and relevant also projects in year 1 and year 2. Magdalena is going to go to year 3 next year, so I'm going to talk about the consulting approach. But in year 3, the typology of our campus changes actually. Students are in a co-work space surrounded by 50 companies. And what we do for students who do the Bachelor Plus or the Double Bachelor is that we invite companies into the classrooms, and students work on consulting projects. To give you some examples, in previous years, students have worked with L'Oréal on sustainable development projects, where the company comes into the classrooms, comes with a set of issues, challenges, problems, and students are engaged through design thinking, methodology, research, and definitions of projects and definitions of solutions to consult for those companies. Now, this is quite powerful and makes a difference at the time of applying for jobs after Forward College's finishes. We do have internships. Students do take internships as part of their course, but those are also supplemented by all those opportunities through year 1, year 2, and year 3. We have a research module also that is in place for students in psychology who wants to keep on researching once they finish their undergraduate degrees. Another high or component and angle of our leadership program is what we call the focus on the on the human intelligences. So those are social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and practical intelligence, leadership and career. How have we tackled that, or why do we include that? Sometimes you can have the best idea in the world, in a company, but it doesn't translate well. It doesn't work because of the human component. At Forward College, we made it a priority to also balance the academic approach with the types of intelligences. In year one, we have defined several modules around social intelligence. So you can see here different areas of studies: effective communication. How do I engage in a difficult conversation when I don't agree with someone? What are my biases? Am I, the person that has the idea but remains silent, or am I the one who talks too much and doesn't listen? It's kind of finding your space in a group dynamic. What is your social initiative, connection? How do you collaborate with other people? What are your tools of influence and negotiation? This is not about giving you a toolbox that fits for all. This is about finding your unique signature in the world. In year two, we work on emotional intelligence, and we work on modules around self-awareness, motivation, and courage, building the resilience when things don't really work for you, managing your stress, your time. Those are important skills to manage. And in year three, through the leadership and career modules, we've really tackled readiness for the work of employment, finding your strengths, building your profiles, your LinkedIn, your CVs, getting internships, getting into those companies. Madalena, do you want to give a couple of examples, maybe on selected modules, maybe in year one or year two, of things that you have done in personal development that you remember?
Of course. I mean, more and more companies are focusing on the importance of feedback. So in the first year, we had a module on how to give and receive feedback, split in two. So we started with how to give feedback in a constructive way, because it can be very valuable, and it's a resource that sometimes projects and companies and teams miss out on, because it can be viewed as criticism or just being really mean as a coworker. But if you phrase it correctly, it can be the most helpful thing you do for someone, to actually give them good feedback. And then we delve into what is good feedback? How is it constructed? How are you saying it? Is it actionable? Can someone actually do something with it, or they're just going to be upset? So it's how to give feedback, and then how to receive it. Because of course, if you just tune it out, being like, it's something that I don't do well, and don't listen to the haters, I'm going to put it aside, that's not very helpful. So it's how do you actually have the humility to take it on and to do something with it. And that one stuck with me. It's something that I've spoken about also when getting internship opportunities. When they have that trick question of what can you bring to the team? What do you do for the team? This is something you can bring up, saying I'm really good at giving and receiving feedback, and I will use it for something constructive. So I really like that module. There's someone on stress management as well. If you're someone that struggles with that, maybe you'll appreciate that one, especially moving away. Many others. But yeah.
Thanks a lot. I mean, that feedback is really interesting, and at different levels, whether that's for people who are higher to you in the hierarchy or lower to you, and being able to listen and engage. It's a very strong skill to develop. So thanks for sharing that example. At Forward College, I mentioned before, maybe you heard me, we have different intensities and levels of engaging with the program. So you can do your single bachelor, which will be quite heavy in classes already, where you have your academic classes at the number of 24 per year. But to that, you can add different level of intensities. So what do we add? We add what I mentioned before, the personal development modules, or the entrepreneurship projects. And we have kind of a middle area that is called the Bachelor Plus, where on top of your academic classes, you will have some modules in year 1, 2, and 3 that will give you additional certificates. That's what we call the Bachelor Plus. As part of the Bachelor Plus, you also have a mandatory internship that is part of the course and requires credits, plus foreign languages. If you do the double bachelor, with the UOL program, you will have the full development program, personal development plus leadership modules, and you will get a BSST from the French Ministry of Education plus your UOL program from the University of London degree. On the Forward Colleges programs, what we have is the Open Bachelor that you can combine with different levels of intensity as well. You can have only one major, you can have a major plus 2 minors, and you can have a double major, and that will define whether you take your Bachelor, Bachelor Plus, or double major Open Bachelor. For PPE and PPLE, what happens is they combine already a set of disciplines. So we only offer it as Bachelor Plus because you will also have integrated already some modules of personal development and entrepreneurship. Let's move to the next one, which is what makes Forward College unique in terms of international exposure. And for this one, I'll let Magdalena present because this is her experience, I guess, going through the 3 cities. Just let me know when you want me to go to the next slides.
Yeah, so on to the most exciting part, many would argue. You start in Lisbon, then move on to Paris and finish in Berlin. This is a core part of the Forward experience, of course, moving every year. Every time I get this question a bit from students, do we join another university on their campus? No, Forward College has its own dedicated learning centers in each city that you go to. So you will not be hopping into another university like you do in Erasmus, for example. And then we'll dive into student residences, which is also a very common question. You can flip. So we start in Lisbon. This is our beautiful campus. There are actually 2 campuses about a 7-minute walk away from each other in the very, very center of Lisbon, historical center. So it's quite exciting. You get to see the city, even if you're just going from one class to the next. This is the Soriano Learning Center, a lot of common spaces with a terrace. You can't see it to the right of the picture. You can see the Tejo River, which is quite a nice view. And of course, Lisbon, with its many, many sunny days, this is quite a useful feature of our campus. And yeah, the campuses are very focused on common spaces. This is the meditation room. There is one in both campuses if you need to unwind, relax between classes, or just read in silence. This is where you can come to. Again, another common table. I think this is how you spend time with other students without actively having to always be in conversation, because at one point you do have to do your work. But this ensures that you're not just in a corner or in a very quiet library, but you're actually sharing a space, which is so, so important. This is the Flores Learning Center. It's the smallest one, but I would say the one with most charm. And another meditation room. The outdoor space, you can come here most days of the year. It's always sunny. More workspaces. There's a meeting room as well if you need to take calls, meet with your team for PBL in the business bachelor. And this is our co-working space, very special place. It is run by students and for students. So this is our space to study, but as well to organize events. I remember with the US elections in 2024, at my first year at Ford, we organized a kind of a watch-along party for the elections. We also do some karaoke. We watched Eurovision. So you have a lot of special moments. If you have any clubs, like there's the crafts club, we have the MUN club. We did our opening ceremony here. So this is really our space. We had some guest speakers as well. And it is right next to the accommodation. So when you stay in the accommodation in Lisbon, you take the elevator down, and this is right there. And it's a space reserved just for Ford students, right next to your accommodation. You can study a bit later than most libraries, a bit earlier as well. And yeah, there's free coffee as well. We also organized a lot of birthday celebrations pretty much every month to celebrate the people that were born that month, and then also to have some cake, because why not? And all come together. This is the student residence in Lisbon. You get your own private bathroom and private room, and you share a kitchen with your floor. There's also the option to have your own kitchen if you want to level up in the tier. Very clean, very good quality. In Benfica, which is a residential area just 20 minutes from the center by metro, and you're right next to the metro stop, so very easy to get to class. And of course, can't forget all the activities in Lisbon. So we have a very, very popular surf club. As you can imagine, it's not something we're able to carry on in Paris and Berlin, but we do enjoy it in Lisbon. You can also see some of the activities that we did, namely an induction week with a lot of, tourist guides to show you Lisbon, make sure you know your way around from the very first week. We did some common activities just to bond, and some project presentations more towards the end of the year. A lot of things to do in Lisbon, very pretty city. Moving on to Paris, at this point, you went from the small campus, maybe you're ready for something bigger, you've adjusted, you know how Forward works, and this is how when you get to Cité Internationale. So it's at the south of Paris, and it's this big, big campus. We share it with other students from other universities, namely in masters. Big grounds, very pretty library, and we get to stay here, which is an absolute privilege. This is where I'm living this year. This is the space. One of our classrooms looks like this. This is Basualdo. This is Nubar. I would say it's about the equivalent of the co-working space you just saw in Lisbon. This is our space to work, sometimes organize some events, do some readings between classes, and again, have some free coffee. This is the beautiful library of the Cité. We share this with all the other students that live at Cité. It is very historical. Cité is now 101 years old. It's from 1925. So you can imagine how pretty the building is. You have over 75 sports to choose from with a very affordable student membership. So if you are very into sports or really just want to try a bit of everything, you'll be kept busy in second year. We also have a pool. It is half Olympic size, if I'm not mistaken. It's open very long hours. You can go swimming at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., whatever fits your schedule. And yeah, it's a pleasure to have this. It's right next to one of our classrooms, which is quite funny. You can join other clubs other than sports. I'm personally in the diplomatic club. I've really enjoyed it. We visited 4 embassies so far, Portugal, Austria, Lithuania, and Serbia. We've had the Minister for Defense come and visit, but you can also join the choir if you're a bit more musical, or other arts clubs if you're artistic. This is Dutch de la Motre. It's one of the residences you can stay in at the Cité, also the oldest one. You have a few more options on when you want to stay. So Paris is quite nice in that sense. You can pick what's good for you according to your budget, your preferences, what you want out of your year in Paris. This is the inside of one of those rooms in Dutch de la Motre. And student life in Paris. You can imagine how it is, but I'll tell you a bit about it. It's very glamorous, as it sounds. A lot of cultural activities to engage in. If you're under 25, museums are free, galleries are free, so very good to go explore. At the Cité, of course, every single activity you can think of, and I mean that. And of course, all the clubs add forward as well. So the Model United Nations Club, for example, continues on in Paris. And we have a lot of visits. This year we went to the OECD. So if you're quite into politics, maybe this is something that would interest you. I know in past years they visited the parliament, so a lot of very important, let's say, field trips to do in Paris. And last year in Berlin, very much looking forward to it. This is a converted factory, and a lot of people ask, where's the wall? The wall is right, or was right in front of the building. So you're surrounded by history, and you feel Berlin from the moment you step into class. This is the common space. As Christophe mentioned, we share it with a lot of startups, different companies. It's a very business-oriented environment, so it's very well placed for your third year when you're ready to go out and actually delve into the professional scene. Every Thursday, there are professional events. So of course, networking events, maybe IT related. Sometimes they drift a bit away and do some art history events. So something for everyone every single Thursday. Immense value to that, to having that happening. There's also a run club. I think it's every Friday at 7 a.m. They go running, and then they have a stretching class afterwards with a light breakfast and some techno music, which it's the most Berlin thing I've ever heard. You also have student accommodation again. Really, if you take the student accommodation all 3 years, you'll be very well housed. You'll be very well surrounded by different forward people, and you'll be relaxed because you don't have to look for anything. This is one of the student accommodations you can pick, AXA, but there's two others you can choose from, more in some years to choose from. So that's an option. And then student life in Berlin, again, a lot of professional events. You'll probably be looking for a very serious internship or maybe your first job. So you'll appreciate this when the time comes. And the birthday celebrations carry on every single year. You can count on the birthday celebrations. And again, Berlin is a very rich city, both culturally and also just professionally. So you'll have the pleasure of exploring that. If you're into partying, definitely the right city. So a lot to gain from Berlin.
Thank you, Madalena. I'll pick up again for a couple of slides here. One of the questions we do get is where do students go when they finish Forward College after the 3 years? It changes from one year to the other, but students from the previous generation, the one who graduated last year, 53% of them started their professional life, whether that was through mentorship opportunities, internship opportunities, placements, or actually starting to work in companies or NGOs. I've included here on the slide some names of companies where our students are operating today. You can see the UN, one of our students, Emiran, is in Washington currently. One of our first cohort students, after doing her sustainable development project in consulting with L'Oreal, is currently working in their HR department in Germany. We have students at Ernst & Young doing consulting as a continuity of what they started during Forward College. We have students at Amazon, etc. 47% of our students do decide to specialize and keep going on a master's when they finish. So let's say someone like Magdalena, who's currently doing politics and international relations, decides to specialize and go to Sciences Po to do international security, for example. That's the trajectory of one of our students. Students also kept on studying at places like LSE, HEC, Bocconi, University of Oxford, and other universities in the US and around the world. This is possible because our degrees are accredited either by the University of London or the French Ministry of Education, therefore follow the Bologna process with ECTS credits and are recognized institutions that help you to transition to master's degrees if that's your wish. One thing that is really important for us at Forward College and one aspect that we don't shy away from is the importance of AI in today's world. Boris Walbaum, the CEO of Forward College and president and founder, wrote a book about the future of education and how AI is changing the landscape. So you can imagine how central this is for us at Forward College. How do we engage with AI? First, we encourage students to use it to prepare for classes, but we equip the students to engage with AI in an intelligent way. We teach them what is a good prompt. We teach them how to be critical about results. We get students to getting used to interact with AI in meaningful ways. We are precise in how we use it. For example, in anything that is assessment, we will leave it on the side. But the engagement is possible through a very strong work of our team and professors in giving access to AI tool via a specific hub for students. So students have access to advanced versions of ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, but also specific forward AI solutions, AI tutors to help with the learning, specialized by disciplines, career boats to enhance your CV and your profile. So this is something that is really central, as I said, for us. And something that any students at Forward College will thoroughly enjoy and integrate as part of their learning. I'll now pass on the totem to my colleague Clément, so he can introduce or confirm some of the entry requirements. Clément, you want to jump in?
Thank you very much, Christophe. Yes, let's go through a topic that is usually of interest to many students when they are looking for a place to study, the entry requirements. So here on the slide, you can see a few curriculums that we are accepting, so the A-levels and IB, but keep in mind that we also accept many other curriculum, including the national curriculum. So for example, if you are following high school in France, we do accept the French baccalaureate or the Italian esame di Stato, the advanced placement too, and many others. And you can check more information on our website to see more details. But usually we are looking for a minimum of 35 out of 45 for the IB or ABB across 3 A levels or an equivalent. Something that we also need to check is your English proficiency, because all the classes are taught in English, of course. If you are studying in a high school where the language is English, actually, you don't really need to provide a test. Or if you are from a country that is an English-speaking country, that's the same. You would not necessarily need to provide an English test. But if it's not the case, we will ask you to provide an English test. You don't need to send the test when you apply. I mean, if you already have it, that's fine. You can already share it with us in the application form. But if not, we can request it later. When you apply, there are 2 sections, basically. One is more about the academic results, where you will be asked to provide your results from penultimate and final year. And if you have any predicted grades, also your predicted grades, if they're already available. And the second part is more about your extracurricular activities and also your motivation. So as you can see, Forwards College is quite a unique institution, so we look for very specific profiles, and we like to know what you've been doing outside of the classroom. So here it's the part where you can develop a little bit on that. And well, if your application is deemed eligible, you will be invited to an interview. So maybe we can go to the next slide, where I can talk a bit more about the whole process. So you have to apply online. You don't need to go through a specific platform like UCAS or any other platform for the UL degrees, at least. And so there is no application fees. You directly apply on our website. You create your personal area. You complete the different sections. As I told you, if your application is deemed eligible, you will be invited to an interview. And at that moment, you will be able also to book a conversation with one of our students. I strongly recommend you to do it, because it's a very good way for you to have more information and ask any questions you may have about, it can be the student life, the relationship with the teachers, many other things. And it's also a good moment for you to ask for tips to prepare for the interview. Then you have the admissions interview. That is, it's a half an hour interview with an admissions officer at Forwards. It's online and in English. And after the interview, if the admissions committee will meet, and they will make a final decision on your application. If they decide to send you an offer, you will usually receive it within 2 weeks. So we are pretty fast in issuing offers. And then the last part, of course, is the enrollment for you. Next slide, please. All right, here you have a bit more details about our tuition fees and financial aid that is available. About the tuition fees, you can find more information on our website, but basically the fees are different depending on your nationality, the type of program, and the degree too. So you can again check that on the website for more details. You have also an example of the yearly housing cost. In each city, it's a bit different. Like Lisbon, for example, is a bit cheaper than Paris or Berlin. Again, on the website, there is a lot of information about the different costs of life in the 3 cities, including the transport, groceries, social activities like cinemas, for example, clubs, and many other things. We do offer financial aid. I would say we have 2 kinds of financial aid available. One is our academic excellence scholarships. So these scholarships are only for top students graduating, or at least predicted with at least 90% or more, and that demonstrates financial need. So we have 10 scholarships, global excellence scholarships, they are called. And they can cover up to 100% of the tuition fees. If you are not eligible, for these specific scholarship, you could still receive some financial aid. We do have other scholarships. They are not as strong as the global excellence scholarships, but still, and it can be combined also with loans. It's a 0% interest loans. And you can have a combination of both. Just keep in mind that all our financial aid is a combination between your academics and your needs. So you will need to prove that you need financial aid. Next slide. Well, we are already in the final wave of application, the fourth one that is finishing at the end of this month. So if you are interested in joining Forwards College, I really encourage you to, send your application before the end of the month. After May the 31st, we will still be able to receive some applications, but it's more on a rolling basis and depending on availability on each program. So if you're interested, please make sure to submit your application before the end of May.
Thank you. I'll just play a small video about college.
I would describe my experience as transformational, enlightening, and amazing.
My experience at Forward was life-changing, incredible, and scary.
I think what I'll miss the most is the community at Forward. I'll also miss the traveling because I think I got quite used to it at the end.
I think I will miss all the people and the family that I've made out of all the international friends that have come together.
Since I graduated, I'm now moving to Poland to complete my internship at the Norwegian Embassy in Warsaw.
After this, I will start my new job at a sort of data startup called Zip. I also have master's sort of offers from BI, the Norwegian Business School, CBS in Copenhagen, and TUM in Munich. So I just need to figure out which one I want, and then I'll do my master's after this.
After Forward, now my plan is to continue at my internship, which I started right after my exams ended, actually. I'm doing product management at a carbon analytics and management company in Berlin. And I really like Berlin, so I really wanted to stay there as much as possible.
I am going to London to work at the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity in the philanthropy department in the international fundraising.
After graduation, I'm going to start an internship at the Permanent Mission of Austria to the United Nations in New York.
I would tell future students to remember to try and enjoy as much as possible and really immerse yourself in the experiences that Forward gives you.
I would tell future students to just do it and take every opportunity that Forward gives you, because it really is building you this amazing, incredible future. So just take every opportunity that comes your way.
Don't be afraid. It might be scary at the beginning, but you'll need a more amazing support network. And you'll go through this journey together and are basically never alone. So there's no reason to worry at all.
That brings us to the conclusion of the presentation. Thanks for your attention. There's a chat box as part of the options available on your screen. Do not hesitate to use it and ask any questions you have. And anyone in the team, whether that's Clément, whether that's Madalena or myself, would be very happy to answer and address them. So do not hesitate to type any questions you have, and we'll take them one by one.
If you want, Christophe, I can start asking the question that we received.
Okay, sure.
Is it possible to do an internship while studying? So, well, of course, we already replied to that question during this presentation, but yes, of course you can. And actually, for most of the degrees that we offer, most of the programs we offer, it's even mandatory to do an internship.
I think the question says during the course, yeah, you can do them as part of year 1, year 2, and year 3. It's not uncommon that some students actually take internship over the summer between the first summer and the second summer. There's one about classes. Yes, no, the classes are in English. It's in 3 countries, and you can take language classes, either optional or part of your course. But the classes are taught in English. Madalena, examples of, what does it say? Examples of internships. Do you have examples of either yourself or colleagues that have taken internship in year 1 or year 2 or engaged in activities that you can share?
Of course. I had an internship from September all the way through to March this year. And I was working for a company in Lisbon that has different C-level executives, so CEO, COO, CMO, whatever has a C in front of it. And they're the mediator, the company is the mediator between these C-level executives and startups that might want to hire them as mentors or fractional executives. And I was essentially collecting their stories and having meetings with them so that I could write an article and then make a feature about them. So that was my job for 7 months now as an internship. And a friend of mine, she had quite an interest in an internship during the first year. So second semester, first year, she had a 4-month internship for the Holt Prize. Maybe some of you will be familiar. So it's Nobel Prize for younger people, I guess. And she helped review different projects, which is super interesting. So she had calls with the people submitting these projects and decided if they were going on to the next phase. So she had to be quite rigorous, but quite a nice internship to get in the first year.
Can you share examples of one-on-one tutoring? What was discussed and how often would you meet with teachers?
Yeah, I can take this one. One-on-one tutoring, it's about once a week. This is because you have formatives, which are just tests, and they're usually corrected within a week or 2 weeks, and then you have the one-on-one tutorial regarding your latest test. So if you have a test every week, then that means you'll be having, delayed one-on-ones every week as well. It's 20 minutes. I think mine tend to go a bit over. The fellows are quite nice. They tend to give you a few more minutes if you need them. And we start by discussing the test. So the purpose is if they just gave you a grade, when you go into the next test of that same course, how are you supposed to know what to do better? You just knew that you got a bad or a good grade, but what exactly do you need to improve? So the point is that you go over it and they say, well, actually, it was your introduction. If you make your introduction better, you'll have a good grade. So it's almost guaranteed that the next time around, you'll have a better score. What tends to happen with me is that we start with that. We get that done quite quickly, and then we start talking about the course in general. Or I've talked a lot about career ambitions and where I want to do my master's and where I want to work. And it's an absolute pleasure to have, an absolute privilege as well to have someone who's so experienced in the area in front of you one-on-one, and they know you as well quite deeply, so they can give you very personalized recommendations and very good advice from someone who's an expert.
That's a good one. Emotional support and how are students accompanied during their time at Forward College. Do you want to mention maybe the campus managers and the other options that are available for pastoral care and support at Forward?
Of course. I mean, we have the well-being coordinators in every single campus. So you have someone that is there for your well-being. They're a well-being officer. They will reach out sometimes. There's also an anonymous form you can fill and kind of ask them to reach out to you. We also have Wellbeing Week. This is usually in March. Every day there's a wellbeing activity. And especially around exams, which are usually end of April to beginning of June, around there, the attention on well-being is a bit stronger. So we had an emotional support dog at the co-working space before my fast exam. That was super nice. The day before you get to go pet. The dog is actually specialized in coming to comfort you. We had a lot of, well-being meditation. We're having it all throughout the exam season. So we have a professional meditation teacher and they go online and everyone can join. We have different activities. We have yoga, little picnics that they organize throughout exam season. So a lot of well-being supports all around.
And I think the last question I can read here, feel free to write more if you have any. How are the classes structures in terms of timetable? Do I have classes all day? How does it work? Madalena, you want to take this one maybe?
Of course, it will depend what program you're taking. So if you're doing a single bachelor, bachelor plus, or double, this will of course affect a bit the amount of classes you have. But it's usually around 4 classes of 2 hours if you have a single bachelor. Could vary a little bit, but it's around this. And you can see if you have 4 classes and there's 5 days in the week, that means you'll have a day where you have no classes usually. You could even have 2 if you have 2 classes on the same day. I personally didn't have any class on Fridays this week, so it is quite balanced. You are, of course, expected to do a lot of individual work to prepare for each class, so it wouldn't be fair to then not give you the time to do that individual work, so it is there. You also have a lot of meetings, learning cells, or just this kind of group that you get together with before class to go over some practice problems if you're in economics or math, and some essay structures if you're in politics. You have some meetings with your double bachelors, with your team, so you need time for that as well. You have the one-on-ones with the fellows, so there aren't that many classes, but you have a lot of engagements that you also need to account for in your schedule, and of course a lot of individual preparation. So you will be as busy as anyone else, but it's just not always in class. You have a lot of other things that you need to do.
Thank you so much. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who participated today from different countries I can see here. Thanks a lot and have a lovely evening. Thanks, Madalena, for joining us today, and Clément as well. And we will be sending also the recording to anyone who's participated. Have a lovely evening, everyone.